Hi, this is Barry. Welcome to the demo of Cisco Secure Cloud Analytics, also known as StealthWatch Cloud. Secure Cloud Analytics is an automated, low configuration and high efficacy threat detection engine. It's cloud native and deploys within minutes and gives you complete agentless coverage of your cloud attack surface. It also features on-prem sensor that aggregates and encrypts your local network flow information to be sent and ingested in the cloud. So let's look at the dashboard. Offers a very clean dashboard. So at the top we can see that the alerts that are still open for us and what happened in the past couple days. And also shows us complete data traffic that has happened in our environment and number of devices that's being observed, whether those are internal IP or external, and how many of them had established bidirectional connections. What's most importantly is encrypted traffic. We can see how much are inbound, and within the inbound, how much are encrypted inbound. And we can see also outbound traffic and how much are outbound encrypted traffic. And we can see that about 21% of our traffic overall is encrypted. Down below, we can see our top talkers in the network and top DNS talkers as well. And as you can see, some of the devices has a red bell next to them. That means that they have open alerts. And you can easily drill into details from here. And you can have a basic understanding of the device, because you can see the IP and the roles that it's assigned. And from here, I can easily tell it's a domain controller. And down below, we also have top high-risk countries. So these are the countries that we define that are high risk. You can also see how much traffic are inbound and outbound to these countries. The red ones are the high-risk countries with actual traffic, and the dark gray are the ones that are listed as high risk but without traffic. Down below, we can also see total number of observations. I'll drill into details in a bit later. So we can see that this is the dashboard, and how do we get this data? Is the first thing that we need to configure is the sensors. So there are two types of sensors. One is the sensor that I mentioned at the beginning that we can deploy on-prem, which aggregates and encrypt the flow data and upload to the StealthWatch cloud. Also, we have open box integration into public cloud environments, AWS, Google, and Azure. And we can easily look at how do we do that integration with very simple steps to follow. And we also integrate with Kubernetes, Meraki, SecureX, and Umbrella. So with very detailed flow to follow here. Next one is, once we get the integration going and we get the data, the very first thing that the system would do is to look at the hosts that it identifies and basically assign them different roles. And these roles are basically, what this endpoint actually do. So we can see there are endpoints that we gather from Amazon, and some of the rules that we can see that are already defined as, like say for example, DNS server, domain controller, and next to these endpoints, we can see how many rules altogether has been assigned to certain hosts. They most all have multiple rules assigned. So like this one is domain controller, DNS server, and remote desktop server. And we also see their open alerts. So basically over here, you can, everywhere when you see endpoints or, observables, you can pivot into more detail. So like this one, we can look at the alerts from here, and we can look at observations, and you can look at the session traffic related to this device. You can also, since we're integrated into SecureX, you can also do investigate in threat response. You can open, create a judgment or analyze on AMP for endpoints. And if we already have orchestration defined, you can also from here activate some orchestration flow to automate your work. Um, you can also look it up on Talos Intelligence and Umbrella. And we can easily create add to a new case, and you can see that a case created on this device, and we can investigate in SecureX further. And this carries forward into other platforms later on when we need to look at this in other Cisco security offerings. Okay, back to the UI. Let's go back to let's look into the endpoints in more detail, right? So in under investigate and devices, we can see a full list of endpoints, that we observe on the network, and you can go back in days and look at different endpoints that you observe in the past, and it also shows us how many endpoints are shown on the network. And down below, you can see the details about the endpoints, how many connections they made. And as you can see, when we click on some of the endpoints, we see the same menu everywhere. And also, you can see the profiles that's assigned to this endpoint. As we have already known him, it's a directory server, and it's also an SMB server and Kerberos server, and all those different profiles that it carries. And we can also drill into details with this endpoint, and we can see how much traffic it's being generating and how many connections, and also in the full summary of this endpoint, its IP address, its connectivity, and its roles, as we showed you, and also the profiles and how many alerts that's associated to it and how many observations. And interestingly, we also see all the connections that it make, whether it's internal or external, and we can look at the external IPs that it connects to. You can do a lot of actions right from here, add it to watch list, or you can do more on SecureX as well. And as you can see, there's one verdict existing for this observable, and you can investigate more on SecureX as well. So a lot of detail that we can find from the endpoints. But we've been talking about observations. Let's quickly look at observations and see what they offer. So basically, based on information from the network, when endpoints does something notable, we will see observations. So they might not directly lead to threats. Only when combinations of observations represent a security concern, an alert will be generated. And we can define all sorts of different kind of alerts as well. So we can control its priority, and we can disable this alert as well. And these alerts can also match to MITRE ATT&CK tactics and techniques. We can see the full detail about the alerts as well. And we can also define our own policies, maybe start with endpoint groups, and we can define, what subnets or CIDR that we identify as an endpoint group, and we can come back to watch list, and we can define an internal connections watch list. And from here, we can say who can talk to who, depending on the source and the destination IP CIDR or entity groups. So you can allow it or not allow it. If it's not allowed, alerts will be generated. Next is we can check alerts. Let's quickly look at the alerts that we have. So as you can see, there are about 30 something alerts that's open. Not many of them. That's because the system is working hard to filter out, things that's not relevant, only leaving us things that we need to worry about. So if we look at one of them, we can see all the details that spit out. We have a good description about it and suggestions on what next step to take. And also, again, match this to MITRE tactics and techniques. And we can change the priority from here. And also, we can assign it to a particular person, like, and also we can tag this. And we can close the alert, after investigation. And, when we close it, it's going to ask us whether it's helpful. And majority of our users rate these alerts to be very helpful. And we can also see all the full details about, the observation and the alert. So next is I want to show you very quickly, how do we investigate further into the traffic. We can search very easily for session traffic. For example, if I have a specific host that I'm investigating, I want to see all the traffic that it initiates, or we can see, in full detail, like, once you click update, you can see all the traffic that's related to this IP, destination, port, and protocol, and how much traffic and bytes and all that. And from here, you can investigate further, on who it's talking to, and you can work on SecureX if you want to as well. And another thing is encrypted traffic. This is important because sometimes you want to make sure what kind of protocol those are encrypted traffic are using, and what key exchange methods that they're using, what algorithm. So you could probably filter on protocol, and let's say I want to see who's using TLS 1.0, which is way less secure and it's not supposed to be using. We can see it right from here. And this is a lot, great information. But what do we do to fully automate all the information that we get? We can define webhooks or integration into other systems as well. So from here, we can see that we can integrate into Datadogs or AWS SQS, SNS, email, Slack, and Google storage and webhooks, and WebEx Teams and Splunk. So let's say, for example, if we want to integrate with WebEx Teams, with its webhooks, we can, easily integrate, and then from WebEx Teams we can get notification, and from there we can take some quick actions from there as well. So this ends the demo. I hope you find it helpful. Thank you.